In this video, I am going to show you how to compare two given lists. So let's start with list comparison. Comparing list. Two lists can be compared with the comparison operator of Python, that is less than equal to, greater than equal to, double equal to, not equal to, etc. Python internally compares individual elements of lists in lexicographical order. Let me demonstrate a comparison. First of all, let me initialize two lists, say L1 and L2. L1 comma L2 equal to, suppose my first list is 10 comma 20 comma 30 and the second list is 10 comma 20 comma 30. Both are same. Enter. Now let me take another list, say L3 equal to 10 comma within third bracket. Let me take another list within this list. Suppose its elements are 20 comma 30. Now if I write L1 equal to L2, obviously these two are identical, so it will return true as an output. Now if I write L1 equal to L3, it will return false. For comparison operator less than, less than equal to, etc., the corresponding element of two lists must be comparable types, otherwise Python will give you an error. But look at in this case, L1 is an integer type of list which holds the value 10, 20 and 30, and L3 contains 10 and a list. The second element of L3 is itself a list, so it can't be identical or equal with L1 list, so it is returning false. Again, I am repeating that other than double equal to operator, no other relational operator will be compatible with the two different type of list. In case of equality, it will return true or false for two different types of list. Now, if you try to apply relational operator other than double equal to, you will face an error. Suppose I am writing L1 less than L3. No, since these two lists are not compatible for comparison, so it will give you an error. Less than not supported between instance of int and list. So among all the relational operator, double equal to will be applicable for two different types of list, and it will give you or return false. And for any other relational operator, it will return an error. Next, let me demonstrate about the non-equality comparison. Before starting, let me tell you one thing, that Python gives the final result of non-equality comparisons as soon as it gets a result in term of true-false from corresponding element comparison. If corresponding elements are equal, it goes on to the next element and so on, until it finds elements that differ. Subsequent elements are not considered. Let me explain it with an example. Suppose two lists are given. The first one contains 1, 2, 5, 6 and the second one contains 8 and 1 only. Now we are going to do a less than relational operator between these two lists. So what it will return? In this case or in this scenario, the corresponding elements are going to be checked with each other. So the first element of the first list, that is 1, will be checked with the first element of the second list. That means it will check whether 1 less than equal to 8 or not. So first two element will be compared first. And if it is true, then it will return true. Subsequent element are not going to be considered. It will not check whether the subsequent element are satisfying this relational operator or not. So the decision will take place at the first differing element. Now, let us take another example. Suppose the first list contain 1, 2, 5, 6 and the second list contain 1, 2, 8, 1. Look, the first element of both the lists are identical or equal. So it will move on to the next element, 2. The second element of this list is also 2. So the control will move to the next element. Look, 5 and here is 8. So 5 and 8 are not equal. They differ by value with each other. So it will check whether 5 less than equal to 8 or not. Yes, 5 less than 8, so it will return true. Let me take another example. Say here 1, 2, 5, 6 and here is 1, 2, 5, 4. The first three elements of both the list are identical, so it will move on to the last element, that is 6 and 4. Now it will check whether 6 less than 4. No, it will return false. Let me show you another example. The first list contains 1, 2, 3 and here is 1, 2, 3, 1. The number of elements in both the lists differ. Now the first three elements of both the lists are identical. There are no more elements in the first list to compare with the fourth value of the second list. So what will happen? Nothing is less than -1. So whatever may be the value, since there is nothing, so it will return true. Nothing means nothing. It can't be greater or equal to with any value. So it will always remain less than the given value, whatever it is. It's a negative, positive, zero, whatever it is. Let me show you more about the last example. So if I write 1, 2, 3 less than 1, 2, 3, it was -1. So it is returning true. Now if I reverse the operator as greater than, that means it will check nothing greater than -1 or not. No, it will return false. Again, if I write 0 in place of -1, so it will return true because nothing is always less than 0 also. So when the list element differs and if there are no more elements to compare, so just think that's a blank unspecified situation is going to compare with a numeric value and logically think what will be the output. More about list comparison. Let me consider this for list where A is initialized with 2 and 3, B list is initialized with 2 and 3 also, C is also initialized with 2 and 3, but these 2 and 3 are character, and finally D is initialized with 2.0 and 3.0, both are float type. So first two are the integer list, the third one is the character list, and the fourth one is the float type list. Now look what happened when you compare A equal to B. Since A and B are identical with every respect, that is their values are same, their data types are same, obviously it will return true. Now if you compare A with C, A is an integer list and C is a character type list. The data type differs, so it will return false. Next, look at this example. When A is compared with D, A is an integer list and D is a float type list. There is an exception when an integer list is compared with a float type list. If the values are same, then it will ignore the data type. That means 2.0 will be considered as 2, 3.0 is considered as 3. Now the A and D will be compared. Then you can say that A and D are same, and for that it will return true. Again I am repeating, when the integer list is compared with the character list, it is returning false because their data types are different. But when the integer list is compared with the float type list, and if their values are same, it will ignore the data type and compare, and that's why it will return true. Points to be noted: for two lists to be equal, they must have the same number of elements and matching values. In case of int and float, Python ignores the type of the element and compare value only. Let me show you more example on list comparison. First of all, let me take these two lists. So the first one is 12, 31, 42, and all of them are enclosed within quotes, so these are the string type of list. So the next one is also ABC, PQR and XYZ, all are string type of list. So if we compare these two lists, so what will be its output? Now the corresponding element will be compared. The first one is 12 and it is ABC. Since these two are string and it contains character, so these two will be compared with respect to the ASCII values. Since the ASCII value of 1 is less than the ASCII value of small a, ASCII value of 1 is 49 and the ASCII value of small a is 97. So 49 less than 97, and it will return true. No other subsequent character or values are considered. Now let's take another example. Say 45 fly high and the second list contains 45 fly high. So whether the first list is greater than the second list or not. First element of both the lists are identical, so it will move to the second element. Here fly is written in small letter and here the fly is written in capital letter. Now there will be a comparison between the ASCII value of small f and the capital F. ASCII value of small f is greater than the ASCII value of capital F. because the ASCII value of small f lies between 97 to 122 and the ASCII value of capital F lies between 65 to 90. So that's why it will return true. Next, another example. The first one contains 1.1, 2.2, 3.3, 4.4. All the elements of the first list are floating type. Look at the second list. It is 1.1, 2.2, 4.4 and finally 3.3, which is a string. First two elements of both the lists are identical. Look, 1.1, here is also 1.1. Next, the second element of the first list is 2.2, second element of second list is 2.2. Now, the third element of the first list is 3.3 and here the third element of the second list is 4.4. So here we get a difference by value. Now it will check whether 3.3 greater than 4.4 or not. No, it is not true. So it will return false. It will ignore the rest of the element. Subsequent elements are not considered, whatever may be its value or type. Let me take another example. Suppose the first list contains two lists. One is 59A and 8B3. So it is a nested list. Two lists are within a list. Next, less than equal to, the second list is 59B and there is another list which contains a single element 6. Now this time the first element, that is this list 59A, will be compared with 59B. So the first element of both the lists are itself a list and within these two lists the corresponding element will be checked. Look, the first one is 5, this is also 5. This is 9, this is also 9. And here is a small a and this is capital B. The ASCII of small a is greater than ASCII of small b. ASCII of small a is 97 and ASCII of capital B is 66. That's mean 97 less than equal to 66 or not. No, this is false. So if I press enter, it will return false. One more example for you. Look, 5, 8 and a list which contains 7, 4, 8. And then second list contain 5, 8, another list 7 to 5. Since first two elements of both the lists are identical, so the third element will come into consideration. So look, 7, 4, 8, it will check with 7 to 5. Again, the first element of this list is identical with this 7 and the second element of this nested list 4 is not equal with second element of this list. So that's mean 4 greater than equal to 2. Yes, it is true. So it will return true. So this is the technique of comparing two lists. Hope it is clear to you. Thank you.